it's Mirandani, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. So, you know that movie 365 Days? Yeah, we're going to chat about it. Okay, so it's major hype right now, 365 Days. It's on Netflix in Australia. I'm assuming a bunch of other places. I've seen it on TikTok. I've seen people talking about it constantly. And I was like, all right, can't be, let's find out. Let's find out what happens, right? So we watch it. Why is it on Netflix? It needs some more warnings. So today what I'm going to do, I'm going to run you through what happens in the movie so that you don't have to waste your time watching it like I did. Okay, so at the beginning of the movie, you're like, you see them fly over this castle thing, like they're in the middle of nowhere. There's no one around, right? Not a soul. And then the main guy's dad, you find that out later, obviously. But you see this guy, he's making a shady deal, and then he says he's not going to get involved in child smuggling, which is like, good on him. But anyway, then it cuts to his son, Massimo, who's the main guy, right? The guy everyone's talking about. And he's looking through his binoculars down at the beach at some girl. And then his dad's like, what you looking at? So then he has a look through him and he sees her too. And then he gets shot, like out of nowhere. His dad, dead, bang, he's shot. He gets shot too, like through his dad. Bullet goes through his dad and then hits, it's a whole thing. Anyway, so we skip from that scene. We skip to 5 years later, and you see his current life, and he's like in some boardroom, doing something, I don't know. And then you see the girl's current life, the one that he saw in the binoculars, right? And she's, I don't know, living her life, not having a great time, has a shitty boyfriend or husband. I can't really tell if he's what he is. So then after that, it cuts to Massimo on a plane, right? 5 years later, remember? So he's on a plane and he's with his, I think it's his uncle and his cousin, and he just like wakes up from a nap or whatever, walks over. First thing they say, they're all mad, is like, oh, someone stole our Coke. So then you find out they're drug dealers, and that's not a shock, I guess. But anyway, so he finds out that this drug dealer's stolen his money or stolen his drugs, I guess. And then first thing he does, walks to the back of the plane, grabs the flight attendant and just grabs the flight attendant and like fucks her. I can't say it any other way. That's what he does. And the flight attendant's like down for it. It's weird, and I don't know, it's just a weird scene. And then after that, you go back to her, and it's her birthday, and they're all having this party, and obviously she's got on a plane and she's gone to somewhere. They're on a holiday right for her birthday. So they're having this birthday dinner. Someone sends over some wine, like out of nowhere, and it's her favourite wine. Sus. And then she's like, no, I gotta go to the bathroom. So she gets up, she leaves, and then she's looking for the bathroom in the dumbest place ever. Like, she's gone out, like, she's not found the bathroom, obviously. She's not asked for directions. And then she just stops and turns around. Who's there? Magic pop-up man who's been creeping on her, Mr. Massimo. Or maybe his name is Massimo. Anyway, he's there out of nowhere. And you know what he says to her in the creepiest way possible? Are you lost, baby girl? And then she just pushes past him, like breezes on, like whatever, and then turns around. Magic man is gone. And at this point, like, I'm thinking he's a ghost, right? Like, I'm thinking he's like either a major stalker or the invisible man or like a ghost or some shit. Like, how did he just pop up and then pop out? I don't know. Anyway, we'll push past that. So after this, you go to the next day and she's with her douche boyfriend who's ditched on her birthday. And she ends up like having a fight with him, pushing him in the pool. And then she gets kidnapped after that. And that's where the kidnapping starts, right? So she wakes up in this strange bed or house, like place, I guess, bedroom. And she is not fussed at all. Like, she looks out the window and then she like tries the door and she's like, it's locked. Like, she's not freaking out. She's not looking for a phone. She's not looking for a way out. She's like, And then the door unlocks, just out of nowhere, it just unlocks. So she's like, I'll go out there. Then she goes out there and she walks down to like a living room type thing. You know what she said on the fucking wall? Her face, her gigantic face on the wall, her whole head on the wall, like a picture of it, like a painting, enormous one. And then she turns around and guess who's there? It's Massimo, the creepy stalker man who pops up out of nowhere, who kidnapped her. And then he says, you know what he says? His famous line?
Are you lost, baby girl?
Oh. So anyway, then she's like, oh my god, it's you. And they have kind of like a struggle, I guess. She almost faints because apparently she's got a bad heart, and he's like, oh, I didn't realize that you had a bad heart and you had a bad reaction to the sedative I gave you. Like, then they have a bit of a tussle, I guess, and she tries to get away, and he like grabs her, and she says something nasty to him, I don't remember, and then he pushes her against the wall and like pins her like face against the bricks type thing, and like pins her arms behind her back, and then the uncle and cousin walk in, and it's like they both kind of go. In the next scene, they find the dude that stole the coat, right? And it turns out that it was the child smuggler bad guys from the start. And it turns out he's not just bad, he's awful, because he also sold those kids that he smuggled to a brothel. So like, that's bad news, right? Kind of a weird aside to put in this story, but whatever, it happened. So that's in there, and then you cut to her, and she's like, make an escape. I'm thinking, good girl, let's get out of here, right? She kind of like finds her way around. She's on, it looks like she's on the roof, but I think she's just like at the front gate or something. And then she's like ready, and she looks around, no one around, cool. She goes to run, and then what does she run into? She runs into this gang of people who are doing execution style murdering of the dude that smuggled the kids and sold them to the brothel and then stole the coke. And then she almost faints again, and then, or she does faint, I think, and then he finds her, and he, you know, takes her back to the bed or whatever, and she wakes up, and he's there in the room watching her while she's sleeping, and he's topless, and it's weird. After that scene, they're all good apparently, and he takes her out shopping and spends a fucking ton of money. Like, I'm saying, like dollar bills, y'all. And it seems like she's trying to like get his attention while they're in the changing rooms and stuff, and she like comes out in all her outfits and like does a little parade, and he is completely ignoring her. Like, he's like on his phone, does not give a fuck what she's doing. And then she's like, until they're in the lingerie shop, right? So they go to this lingerie shop, she's in there, she's got this whole outfit on, and then who comes in the changing room with her? Oh yeah, that's right, it's Massimo. He comes in, and she's like, stop, get out, and then he just like pins her like by the throat, grabs her, throats her against the mirror in there. She says to him, let me go, you'll never see this again. And then he's like, if I buy this lingerie, I'll see it whenever I want. She obviously gets mad at that comment. I mean, I would too. Anyway, he leaves the changing room. He just went in there to tell her to hurry the fuck up, apparently. She takes it off, gets changed, she walks out, and she throws it at him. She says, if you want to see it whenever you want, then you wear it. And I was like, damn, that's a gangster line. Anyway, so she she leaves. She walks out of this lingerie shop, and they don't chase her, they let her go. And I was like, yes, bitch, it's time to go. Like, put your thinking brain on, get yourself out of there. I'm like, baby, make a break for it, find a phone, find a taxi, fucking find another person that can help you, or run. Like, you know what she does? She goes to a balcony, a dead-end balcony, mind you, and she goes up to the police officer, and he is not fast, and she's like, oh, I've been kidnapped, can you help me? And the police officer is like, oh, yeah, and then who pops up behind her? Massimo. Police officers don't even say anything, they just fuck off, and she turns around, she's like, and you know what he says to her? You know what he says to her? You know what she says?
Are you lost, baby girl?
Oh my god, why is that a line of that movie? It's so, I don't know, it's just so weird the way he says it. It's not sexy at all. So they have this chat on the balcony after the police have buggered the fuck off, and she says she wants her phone and her laptop. Anyway, so they have dinner or something. Anyway, she ends up back at the hotel or the room or the wherever the fuck he's keeping her, and her phone and her laptop are on the bed. And I was like, yes, here's the time. Come on, you're gonna call someone and they're gonna help you. No, she calls her mum, and she says, oh mum, I've got a job in Sicily for a year. And I was like, you were kidnapped, try and leave. Anyway, moving on, whatever. Fast forward a bit, and they're about to hop on a plane. They're gonna go somewhere, and she's obviously doesn't want to go. She's kicking and screaming, the bodyguard's carrying her onto the plane, and she is not happy. Anyway, they strap her into the plane seat, and literally the most seatbelts I've ever seen on a plane. Like, there's one across her chest, across her here, across, like, it's like they made this chair for people to be strapped into when they didn't want to get on the plane. Anyway, also she's on a plane, like she's not getting off anytime soon. Like, she's got to get to where she's going before she fucking gets off. that's a whole other thing. And she's like, untie me, and he's like, no. And then he like starts like touching her, and she kind of is into it too. And I was like, okay, like each their own, all right, whatever. Anyway, then he stops and she gets mad because he stopped. And then he's like, you have to earn your pleasure. And I was like, fucking hell, man, like make up your mind. And at this point I'm real confused, because like he said he wasn't going to touch her, and then he touched her, but then she's mad that he stopped touching her. And so I'm just real like, what is happening here? There's some holes. So they get to where they're going, and that's some kind of like cafe type thing, and she's eating an ice cream, apparently all provocatively, and he's like, stop it, like tells her off for eating ice cream too provocatively, and he's like, don't provoke me, stop it. And I was like, yo, that's your fault, like it's not her fault that you're attracted to her eating the ice cream. Like, anyway, I'm moving on. Anyway, so after he abuses her a little bit about eating the ice cream so provocatively, she fucks up and gets in the fountain. I was like, yo, this is your chance to, they're not watching you, not with any bodyguards, this is your chance to run away. No, get in the fountain. You have a shower in the fountain because you're trying to fuck him off and make him mad. I don't understand what's happening here now. Anyway, he obviously gets mad, as he always does, about everything, and he takes her back to the hotel, and he's like annoyed that she got in the fountain. And then she goes back to her room, drives off, I guess, whatever. She puts on a bathrobe. I mean, just a bathrobe, like nothing else but a bathrobe. And she goes to his room. And I was like, yo, run away, man, you were kidnapped. But anyway, she's obviously not worried about being kidnapped. Anyway, she goes into his room, and she like goes and sits on his couch thing that's in his room, that's underneath this enormous picture of himself with a lion. She decides she's leaving, so she leaves, goes to leave the room, and the door's locked. And oh wait, it's locked from the inside, but wait, she's on the inside, so can't she just unlock the damn door? No, apparently she can't. But she runs over to him, and she's like, let me out, I'm like, unlock the door. And he's kind of essentially like, no, and then like pushes her onto the bed. And then conveniently, this hotel room that they're in has chains from the bedposts, and he just quickly straps her arms in and her bloody legs in too. And then you know what happens? A sex worker rocks up. He sits on the couch across from her, full eye contact with her the entire time, and gets this sex worker to give him head. And it's weird. Like, is that the way that you get the girl that you love to love you back? By like tying her to the bed and then making her watch you get off? Oh, I don't know. Lets her go, and she leaves, and I was like, okay honey, after you've just had that experience, time to pack your shit and go. And by pack your shit I mean grab your phone and off your hop, because you don't have anything else except for all the clothes that he bought you. And no, she doesn't do that. She goes back to her hotel room, and she puts on the I assume it's the sexiest outfit. She's got some sparkly thing. I didn't really think it was that great, but whatever. She puts that on, and she goes down the stairs, and the bodyguard slash cousin is like waiting for her to and he says to her, he's gonna kill you, and then he's gonna kill me, like for what she's wearing, which I really don't think is that bad. Like, it's anyway. So they get to the club, and then he leaves her unattended, this bodyguard, and he's like, wait here. Obviously, sis, this is your chance to get away. Like, you're in a crowded club, just fucking leave, go, like, and get a taxi and fuck off. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, no, she decides that she's also not going to obey the stay here rule. She's going to go to that private room where, you know, her kidnapper is with his other drug lord friend slash, I mean, business partner, I guess. Like, he's going to go into business with this person. And he goes in there, and obviously he is mad about it. He's mad about everything. And then he comes out, and he's like telling her off for wearing the dress, and then she's like, I'm not even wearing any panties, and like puts his hand between her legs. And I was like, yo, he kidnapped you. What are you doing? She goes downstairs, she starts getting friendly with some random dude at the bar, and he sees it, and he obviously gets mad because he gets mad about everything. And he goes down there to stop her, but oh my god, when you get down the stairs in a club and you can't see anything. And then he gets his way to the bar, and she's not there, and he's like, oh my god, where is she? Turns around and he looks up at the private room like this. And there she is, dancing on the stripper pole, because that's gonna make things worse, right? And that's what she wants. She wants worse from her kidnapper. So he comes up, and he's going up to like tell her off, I guess. Anyway, the dude that he was there to meet starts grabbing her, and he's like, finally a real whore or some shit, I don't know. Anyways, then she's like, oh shit. And like, that's the reaction she should have had from the start with this guy, but it's not the right, but Massimo comes through the door, guns blazing, so mad. Turns out he kills that guy, which, I mean, But he kills that guy and effectively fucks up his entire organization because that's the other drug family and now he's got a war on his hands. When she comes out and she's like, I'm so sorry. And then he like yells at her and so then she yells back.
You killed him. I shot his heads. I wouldn't have to do it if you didn't just like go and put on your little show.
So that's my fault that your friends tried to rape me. That's my fault. Fuck off. Enough.
You know what happens? She fucking falls off the boat.
Stop it!
Don't touch me.
Stop it! What are you doing?
And he dives in after her. He dives into the ocean to save her. Then he saves her, and because he saves her, then she's all, oh my god, my hero. And then she's like, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you saving me. Here, let me give you head. And this is where we really get into the sex scenes. Ugh. Bang all over the entire fucking boat. Like I'm telling you, everywhere. Like so unrealistically. Everywhere. The whole day. Like it's not... He goes for a nice little skinny dip. And when he comes back, she's like, I want more. And I was like, oh, honey, you've been banging on that boat for like 7 hours. You apparently only got 1 hour sleep. Like you definitely don't need to keep banging. But anyway, that's fine. Whatever. You do you. They, you know, style her up, make her real pretty. They go to this thing. And who's there? His ex is there. Why is that interesting, you say? Because as soon as they get there, they see the ex comes up and says, I'm going to kill Laura. Like that.
Your portraits have been hanging in my house for years.
And then they leave, and that's the end. They leave and they go back to this, I think they're in a hotel room there somewhere. And when they get there, they apparently bang on the bathroom table, but they definitely don't. That is, there is no way that he was inside of her. He's definitely banging her thigh, like not the realisticest of sex scenes. But anyway, as soon as they finish, he then tells her that he's shipping her back to where she came from, like essentially back to her hometown place, whatever. And she's pissed about it, but she goes. And then when she gets there, she tells her best friend Olga everything. And I was like, Olga, honey, it's time to tell your friend that she's being a bit cray and she needs to not try and go back there and just... It needs to end. This needs to be the end. Go to the police maybe, but this is the end of it, right? No, that's not what Olga says. Olga says, you need to find him. Oh my god, you guys are in love. Oh, Olga, come on, honey. You heard the story. But no, they go out to this party, all's well, they're having a great time, and I was like, surely something bad's gonna happen. Yes, her ex rocks in, and he's so needy. He's like, oh my god, please come back, screw me. Anyway, he pretty much follows her home, and then he's trying to come inside, and she's like, no, like, go, leave. And then Massimo, shocker, is in her room, and how did he get in there? We don't know how he got in there, but apparently he's got locks, keys to everything, whatever. He's got keys to everything, and he says, I think she's trying to tell you to leave or some shit like that. And then old mate, Martin, goes, yeah, oh, fuck, and just buggers off. Just buggers the fuck off. Like, doesn't matter if he loves that girl, whatever, he don't care. He's like, bye. And then, of course, she goes inside. They're mad. She's mad that he left her or whatever, or sent her home, I guess. And, of course, they bang. And then she goes,
I don't need 365 days.
Because?
and she wakes up in the morning with a ring magicked onto her damn finger, and he asks her to marry her, and she obviously says yes. And then they meet her parents the next day, and she says to him, don't tell them what you did. Like, obviously he's not going to start the conversation with, hi, I'm Massimo, I'm your daughter's new boyfriend, she only loves me because I kidnapped her and abused her till she got Stockholm syndrome and fell in love with me. Like, no, he's not going to say that. But you know what he says? He goes, what do I say then? Not that. Don't say that. We fast forward a little bit, and she flies her best friend over for the wedding, and because like best friend knows all the tea, and like bombshell, she's pregs too. Like anyway. Olga, the best bud, she knows everything, and then except that they're getting married apparently, because they stop like on the way to the house or whatever, and then she tells her, and she's like, what are you doing? You've known him for 2 months, like, you're being crazy. Finally, Olga, like, finally you're putting your thinking hat on. But it doesn't matter, because then immediately she says, oh, but I'm here for you and I still support you no matter what. Olga, honey, He kidnapped her after he saw her on the beach and stalked her for 5 years. We cut to the uncle. He's in a car, and he gets a call, and essentially all they say is, oh, they're going to kill Laura now. And he's like, how sure are you? And they're 100%. And so then he's like yelling at the driver, go, 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 go faster. And he runs, gets it to the house, and then he runs up, and you see Massimo, and he's by the beach, and the pool, and he's on the phone to Laura, and they're talking about, oh my God, I can't wait to see you, love you so much. And then you see her car, and she's like driving along, and you're like, oh yeah, all's breezy. And then she drives into this tunnel, and then the uncle runs up, and he's like, and then Massimo, like, nothing on the phone. He's like, blah, and then there's nothing. And then you cuts back to the tunnel scene. The car never comes out the tunnel. So you just like assume she's dead, obviously, because like they said they're going to kill her. Anyway, so that's the crazy ex that's done that. We assume, and he just drops to his knees. Roll credits. That's the end. That's it. That's how it ends. That's the end. What? Ugh. This movie hurts my brain. This movie was like a porno with extra filler that like you could have just watched porn. Like you could have just, and it would have been quicker and like better because like the storyline was distracting from the porn bit, and so it's like too hard to focus. I feel like I lost brain cells from watching that movie, so you are not missing anything. So I pretty much summed up the entire movie for you. The really quick version is he kidnaps her because he sees her when his dad dies, or just before his dad dies, and then she falls in love with him like a dumbass. I mean, not to victim shame. She didn't help herself. She didn't try and get away. I'm gonna say that. It's a shit movie. Like the whole movie like glorifies like the abuse and his possessiveness of her, and I just think it's real dumb. Like I just think that it's like taking away from like that whole, there's a whole BDSM community that kind of has that sub and dom thing going on, and that's totally fine, but that's in that context. Like this is their entire relationship, is that, and I just don't think that's very healthy. But anyway, if you want more movie or chat reviews about bad movies so you don't have to watch them and I will watch them for you, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for all your support. Please subscribe if you want to have a laugh and maybe learn some shit, because I do other videos about makeup and outfits and story times and fun stuff. So maybe you'll have a good time. Please like this video, it helps me so much, and check out my social media to keep up to date with when I am posting. Thank you guys. Bye.